Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith, I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today I'm having a play with a beautiful stamp set that I've recently bought. It comes in a bundle, so there are dies that go with it which are absolutely gorgeous. I need to do a sheet really showing you what's contained, but reason I love this beautiful flower here. Echinacea flowers. I've got these lovely little ones that look almost a little bit like marigolds, fabulous textured background, and then some really useful sentiments. So you've got good luck. Just a simple thank you. This one, which is lovely, sending healing thoughts, may nature's beauty bring peace to your soul. Absolutely beautiful. And then a reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and so many others. So that's the stamp set. I haven't actually bought the whole suite. There is some paper that goes with it as well, but I'm on a mission not to buy as much DSP until I've used up what I've got. So yeah, so those are the stamps. The dies that go with it are again a lovely mixture of dies to cut out the images. So you've got this lovely one to cut out this one and also this one here, but then you've got the accent pieces. So we have this lovely stem here, kind of ears of corn, a fabulously useful branch, this one which is lovely flowers, and then another one that cuts out the image, and then a couple of really useful bars for sentiments. So this small one is perfect for the thank you, and just there, and then you've got a lovely long one to cut out this one as well, so really useful extra shapes as well. As you can see, my usual CD pouches there ready with my blank die cuts, and I've also started doing a few with some images that are already coloured in. So a couple of things to show you. So this is with some no line watercolouring, just to show the effect there, and then this one is using our watercolour pencils and a blender pen, and then again, you know, I've usually just have a couple of stamped images already in there ready to go to make a quick card. As you can see, I've got one there ready for some no line watercolouring as well in Sahara sand, so that's just a useful thing. I also keep myself a die cut, so this is like use it with my Stamparatus. I find it much easier to get a really nice image if I die cut several blank ones, pop that in my Stamparatus and then stamp through it. I'll show you that another time. Yeah, so there we go, that's the stamp set I'm using. I'm also using a die set, she says, having not got it hand down. Right, okay, so I'm using the fabulous basic border dies. These are really useful because they have got stitching both inside and out, or they've got a scalloped edge, so they are really useful. This gorgeous cloud one, I've got some ideas on that. A zigzag, this one here which is like a fancy zigzag, really pretty. It's fabulous scoop, you know, really useful. So again, that's another one of my go-tos, so I'll be using that as well. So I better show you what I'm making. So this is the card. So it's a kind of a variation on a triangular joy fold, and I thought particularly for a sympathy card, you don't always want what you've written to be on show, but I thought something a little bit different. So you can see I've used that lovely border across there, and when you open it up you've got this panel, but that can fold down, so you've got a lovely shaped card, as you can see there when it's open, you know. So just I thought it was fun, so that's what we're going to be making, and you'll see I've used the Flirty Flamingo behind it to create more of a shadow, and I'm using this lovely pattern party paper. Okay, this is a host only paper, so this is one that you can get if you spend £150 or if you get together with friends. So if you've got a couple of crafty friends and you all want to put an order in together, you get this paper because there's 48 sheets of paper in there, absolute masses. So you can have, you know, you can split that up between you, but you can see a full range of lovely papers, gorgeous colours on the one side and then black and white patterns on the reverse. That's that lovely sort of like leopard print, florals, lovely little scallops, stripes, always useful. How about this one? Goes with Art in Bloom, another card coming up with that. This paper here, lovely. I love the candy stripes on this. That would go beautifully with the the ice cream stamp set that I used in the summer. That would be fabulous with that. Again, black and white. I don't do black and white so much, but I do love the colours on here. Rainbow of hearts with some really smart stripes, make a very smart card. Lovely scallops, so a bit of colouring there, some great leaves. How about this lovely granny apple green? Colours, yes, bumblebee and pool party. So that's the one I'm going to use. So the colours in there, loads and loads of colours from sort of crushed curry. It's crushed curry, not bumblebee. Here we go. Flirty flamingo, granny apple green, misty moonlight, pale papaya, petal pink, pool party, and poppy parade. So a real rainbow of colours in there, and they look gorgeous together. So obviously we're going to do some nice bits of stamping, and I haven't done as much prep as I probably should have done, but I have created a card base. So it comes from a straightforward card base, so wherever you are in the world, this is half a sheet of your A4. So in the UK, that's 21 by 5 3/4 that I've trimmed. You're going to need a piece of DSP to go on the front there, and that is 14 by 10 centimetres. 14. Yeah, I said 21 by 5 3/4. So 21 centimetres by 14.5. The DSP to go on there, and you'll see that I haven't layered that anymore. We've then got my template I've put away, so I'll need to measure this. And I cut in from my. So this is 21 by 6.5 centimetres. I've then got another piece of our coastal cabana, which is 6.5 by 10.5, and then some 2 pieces of basic white that are 10 by 6 centimetres. Yes, there are 2 that are the same. Okay, so let's do our stamping first. So what you're going to do is the 2 pieces you're going to stamp. You're going to stamp the inside of this with our floral image, and then the front we're just using that background image as well. So I'll leave the card there so you can see it. I've already mounted up my stamps, and as I say, I'm going to kind of go with Coastal Cabana with Pool Party. I love the sort of depth of colour that you get with those. So I'm just going to simply grab my ink pad. I was going to grab a scrap of paper as well, but I can't find. Okay, right, so these are red rubber, so you don't need your Stampin' Pierce mat. You'll just get a lovely image anyway. Here we go. So that's for our inside. So for the front, what I'm doing here is I'm going to stamp off as well. So this is where, because I use my scraps of paper as well. So I'm going to do a mixture of stamping. Now, when you've stamped off the edge, make sure you ink up and stamp off fully, because otherwise you'll get a line across it. So there we go. So there's our sort of background piece. And I think that's a gorgeous kind of texture effect piece on there. Now for my for the main image, I have stamped that in Memento Black. So these are where I have my, when I do a bit of batching, I've already got an image already done. So this is simply stamped, it's die cut, then using the Stamparatus, stamp it in Memento, or obviously if you're not using a Stamparatus, then just stamp and then die cut as well. And when you're die cutting, I've cut another one just very simply out of my Bermuda Bay cardstock. So I've gone a shade deeper again, just to kind of give that real sort of depth of shadow effect. You could use black if you wanted to. Even though it's a sympathy card, I still like the fact that, you know, it's got some colour to it. And then you can choose which colouring method you're going to use, and as I say, I'm going to use some watercolour pencils with our blender pen, hence I'm using Memento. We've got 2 sets that you can obviously choose from. Assortment 1 has got our Bermuda Bay in there, and assortment 2 is what I used originally because it's got the Flirty Flamingo and Granny Apple Green. So choose a set that you're going to use. So I'm going to grab my Bermuda Bay. I'm going to grab a bit of Pacific Point as well. I might want a bit of deeper colour, and I'll use the Old Olive that's in there as well. Okay, so then we can just go in and colour. What I do is simply I kind of go sort of with a sort of reasonably sharp point. I kind of do this sort of deeper bit, so I don't sort of give it an even colour, because I'm going to use my blender pen to do that. So you can see it's quite, you know, it's not fancy sort of colouring that I'm doing there. Probably because I can't do fancy. I'm actually going to use, I know we don't very often have blue flowers, but so I'm just going to add a little bit of Pacific Point in the sort of shadows, kind of on those darker bits. Use the lines of the stamp to give you some ideas as well. Just noticed I've missed this bit here. This is just a little sort of frill. And then I'm just going to colour those a little bit more. Okay, and then I do need a yellow. So in this one we've got the Daffodil Delight as the yellow. So I'm just going to add some there. Again, just sort of putting a little bit of depth in the base of where that would be, so in the shadow, that we can then blend out. So as you can see, quite rough. So when you're using your blender pen, you'll see mine very well used. I just use it a little bit to make sure that it is clean from whatever colour I've used it for before. And then as you can see, you just come in and I'm going from the dark to the light, so from the middle out. And obviously the alcohol within this moves the colour. And obviously, as you can see, it's blending those two colours together. So with the Pacific Point and Coastal Cabana, or was it Bermuda Bay? Bermuda Bay even. So as you can see, so those, so that's from my sort of blue colouring. So again, just wipe your pen until it's clear again. Then you can come and do the stems. So just running that down, like so. So you can see where I'm going over that dark, it's picking up the colour and moving it. So you start off with, you then get some more sort of natural shading going through. Like so. And then if you wanted to add a bit of colour, a bit more colour, there are two ways. Obviously you could go in with your pencil again, or you could always take your blender pen to the tip of the watercolour pencil, and that will give you a deeper colour to paint with as well. So a couple of ways to use our blender pen with that to create our lovely image. So now that that's done, I'm just going to poke out, yep, that. Okay, just going to add some glue to the back here. I'm optimistically going to add some glue. So all I'm doing is just adding it all over the back there. And these are quite big die cuts, so there's plenty of space there for you to pop glue on. Really easy to layer up these. And so we're just going to take that, minus the hair which I've left on it, and just pop that over the top. And we're just offsetting slightly. So again, the use of a wet glue just allows you a little bit more wiggle room to give yourself a little bit of a a deep shadow there. So it just allows it a little bit more depth of colour. And then we can just add some dimensionals onto the back. And as I said, they're quite large flowers on the back here, so you've got plenty of space to put some big ones on. If you're being frugal, as I am, make use of those edges and pop some of those on as well. And obviously, or you can use our smaller mini dimensionals on there as well. And I'm just making sure that all those flowers are nicely popped up. Okay, so it's nicely supported all over. Okay, and that will just pop straight onto the front there, as you can see, and that's ready to go onto our probably should have done this bit first. I get so carried away with getting my dimensionals on there. The reason I say do it first is because obviously otherwise you're trying to add glue onto something that isn't flat. So just add that onto the front of our cardstock. Okay, so that's our panel ready to go. There's our inner panel. So now let's get on with our card construction. So this is really easy. What you are going to need is a little bit of tape that is removable. So I'm using a bit of post-it note tape, because what you're going to do is actually open your card up, and I want to put a couple of bits of tape. I'm folding that back on itself. I'm popping a little bit in the corner there, because what I want is for this paper, I shall attach it afterwards, which will allow me to offset it slightly. So I want to keep it in place while I die cut. So I'm just going to pop it into the centre there, like so, and then add my basic border. So take your border that you decide, and you're going to pop this right up to that top corner, and then pop it down to here. So you can see it's just coming in at either side. Again, just a bit of tape. And this is where the post-it note tape really comes into its own, because it doesn't stick, like so. Now you're going to pop it through on your Big Shot or cut and emboss. And what you want to do here is, obviously it's just the right width, so you're going to put it on, and then you're going to offset your plate. So that means that you don't want a line. What you want to do is just come up to that score line and then pop it through. So that's gone through, as you can see here. Okay. So now you'll see that's cut almost all the way through up to that top corner. So we can just take our die off, peel our tape, and if it hasn't quite cut all the way through, it's very easy. You just snip in those two corners, like so. And look at that, that has just cut through like butter. These are so easy, and because it's gone through diagonally, you're not going to have any issues as well with it, because it's putting the right amount of pressure on. So as I say, you could leave it like this if you wanted to, but because I've used this non-tacky tape, that gives me the option of creating a teeny tiny little border there, like so, and you can come in and trim that. So if you look at it and kind of go, actually, yeah, I really like that, but I want a bit more of a border, you can come in and trim it a little bit more if you want to. I'm just going to move it so that it's just a really fine border on there. So I'm just going to come in, a little bit of Tombow, and just come into those little points. As I said, I'm just coming in just a smidge to create a little shadow, and I'm going to do the same on this one as well. So just peeling that tape off. As you can see, it doesn't lift it up at all. I find it really useful to have. You could use a bit of post-it note. That's if you haven't got the post-it tape, then the top sticky bit of the post-it note, that's basically what this is. It's a whole reel of that bit. So again, open your card out and just as I say, it just gives you just a little bit more definition on the front there, like so. So as you can see, it's coming together really nicely now. So this layer is then going to go on the inside of our card. So what's obviously just quite a boring inside to the card is starting to come to life. So again, this is where I would recommend using a bit of wet glue, because you really want that to kind of butt up to the edges so that it can then close, as you can see there, because you're really sort of layering that up. And you know what, I've got a tiny bit of overhang there, which I'm just going to trim with my scissors. There we go. Okay, so nearly there. So our 21 centimetre piece that we cut right at the start, we just want to quickly score that in half. That's one thing I didn't do. So just score it in half at 10.5. I haven't got my I have done this in inches to fit UK cardstock, so if you're concerned about that, just pop along to my blog and you'll find the link for that underneath the description bar in here. There we go. And I'm just adding a little bit of glue and Tombow. Just a useful tip with Tombow, you don't have to squeeze it hard. Once you put a little bit out, you're kind of dragging it almost, just so you don't use loads of it. Here's a bit of Pool Party that I've used. And you see, just having those extra shades in there. The beauty of Stampin' Up, obviously, is the joy of the coordination. You know, you just know that these colours are going to work well together. Okay, there's our little panel for our sentiment. And all that remains is for us to attach this to the inside of your card. Now again, I have designed this so that it will sit central, so you just need to centralise this in the middle of our card, and then, but what you're making sure is that it doesn't foul on this front edge. So if you want to take it very slightly higher, you can. There we go. And then obviously for the sentiment, I'm just going to use my die cut. So in here, actually, have I got? I have got one. That's fine. For a moment there, I thought I hadn't got one out. There we go. So there's our sentiment. Now again, I use the lovely grid paper that we have to help me with lining this up. If I'm honest, I'm better with my Stamparatus with these. I'm not very good at stamping straight, but let's give it a go. So let's try getting my sentiment straight, hovering over the top. Hey, job's a good one. Okay, so turn that over. This is perfectly sized, as you can imagine, for our large dimensionals. And I'm going to pop 3 on this. Just pop those across. There we go. And then that will sit just perfectly on the front of our card. So there we have a pair of sympathy cards that I think actually would easily work for other occasions as well. But with these generic patterns, you know, you're not tied to anything particular, and using those beautiful basic borders you get lovely cards. And as I said, the beauty is that the sentiment can remain hidden whilst displaying a lovely card, as you can see there, with a little bit of interest. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen today, do either click on the links in the description bar below or pop along to my blog, and please hit the like button or subscribe. It really does make a difference and helps get my videos out there. If you've enjoyed it, let me know. Thanks for watching. Come back soon. Bye.